As the sun sinks below the rolling hills of Lancashire, England, the landscape grows quiet. A cool wind moves through the grass, and in the distance a lonely hill rises above the land. Unsettling by night, this is Pendle Hill. During the day, the lush fields make it a peaceful destination for hikers and photographers, but for centuries this peak has carried a much heavier reputation. Locals and visitors frequently report seeing mysterious glowing orbs drifting silently across the hillsides after sunset, along with shadowy figures appearing where the terrain should be empty. Those who walk here alone describe unexplained murmurs on the wind, a faint name, a hushed conversation, or the feeling of being watched. Whether you view these stories as supernatural encounters or tricks of the light, tracing the source of this dread requires stepping away from the paranormal and looking into a documented timeline. The fear lingering across this landscape stems from a 400-year-old atrocity committed by ordinary people. In the early 1600s, Europe was gripped by suspicion when communities faced set-in crop failures, unexplained diseases, or unexpected deaths. They immediately searched for someone to blame. In 1604, England passed strict new laws against witchcraft. This legal shift took local folklore and superstitions and formalized them into state-recognized crimes. This engraving shows exactly how the public viewed these threats. Communities interpreted the idea of a demonic pact entirely literally. They saw these acts as immediate, terrifying dangers to their physical safety and spiritual salvation. Mixed with deep religious fervor and full state backing, this terror created an environment where ordinary petty disagreements between neighbors rapidly escalated into fatal accusations. See, operated as a contagion. It drove panicked communities to hunt down vulnerable scapegoats in a desperate attempt to regain control over an unpredictable world. By 1612, that panic reached the small villages nestled below Pendle Hill. 12 local residents were accused of practicing witchcraft. Most came from impoverished families, and many were already caught in long-standing personal rivalries with their accusers. The evidence gathered against them relied on rumors, forced confessions, and the panicked testimony of frightened witnesses claiming to have suffered supernatural harm. The trials moved rapidly based on this deeply flawed evidence. 10 of the accused were dragged to the gallows and executed by the state. The victims executed that day were real, breathing citizens, subjected to a swift, legally sanctioned slaughter. The atrocity on Pendle Hill was carried out by terrified neighbors who legally murdered their own. Knowing this history, we have to ask, if the supernatural claims lack physical proof, why do modern visitors walking these foggy dirt paths still physically experience a sense of being haunted? This diagram illustrates a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia. When you look at the scattered dots and static on screen, your brain's survival instinct kicks in automatically, organizing the random visual and auditory noise into a recognizable human face and a distinct sound wave. Our minds rely heavily on expectation. When we already hold a certain belief, our brains actively shape abstract patterns to fit a conclusion. When you climb Pendle Hill, knowing the specific details of the 1612 trials, your brain filters sensory data differently. Every creaking branch and gust of wind becomes a meaningful signal of a potential threat. These ghosts are not external spirits. They are interpretations of a dark history projected onto the quiet shapes and sounds of the hillside. Over the years, paranormal investigators have scoured the hillside with equipment, hoping to document unexplained anomalies. But searching for scientific proof of ghosts misses the true resonance of the location. Look at these ancient stone walls cutting through the desolate moor. The real weight of this landscape is the permanent memory of what humans are capable of doing to one another. The trials of 1612 stand as a lasting monument to the deadly consequences that follow when a society allows paranoia to replace evidence and reason. As the sun sets and the massive silhouette of the hill darkens the surrounding towns, the beauty of the landscape clashes with the knowledge of what happened here. This tension leaves one final question. Are the stories keeping the hill alive, or is the suffocating darkness of human nature keeping the stories alive?